Ingles Studios. This is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart Radio Station.
I'm Christine DC. Breaking news: full-time all-pro tight end Rob Gronkowski announced his retirement from football after 11 NFL seasons and 4 Super Bowl championships. However, Gronk's agent telling ESPN's Adam Schefter he wouldn't be surprised if Gronkowski goes out of retirement for a second time by announcing that he made the quarterback ESPN's Robert Griffin III agrees.
They picked up the phone the first week of the playoffs, second week of the playoffs, and he called Gronk would come running. They excited me to come back and play. So I just think for me, with Gronk, the Bucs were the favorite. Without him,
contender, and I think it'll really show up as you get later and later in the season when Brady doesn't have his security blanket anymore.
RG3 on this just in. The attorney representing the women who accused Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson of sexual misconduct said 20 of the 24 civil lawsuits filed against him have been settled. NFL spokesman Brian McCarthy said today's development has no impact on the collectively bargained disciplinary process. Attorney Tony Busby says he plans to try the 4 unsettled lawsuits in court.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all of your car care needs. We're close, convenient, and known for our guaranteed everyday low prices and excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
Jeremy Greene, the Sportsocracy. Presented by Ingles Supermarkets. Low prices, love the savings. And Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
And welcome into the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. The Sportsocracy heard everywhere on the iHeart Radio app, live or on demand from the Ingles Studio. Brought to you by Ingles Supermarkets. Low prices, love the savings, and of course, Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville. We're ready for another, shortened week after the day off yesterday. Did you enjoy your day off?
I played golf, good golf, with news gnome Mark Starling. You can play Crowne Plaza, and if you can hit a drive over about 240, you should score quite nicely.
Okay, so you did well.
Yes.
Okay.
I do think I hit the longest drive I've ever hit in my life, and I'm really glad he was there to verify it.
All right. Well, I hope you got some golf game in. Happy Father's Day, belated to everybody else. I know we said that on Thursday, but, it's a good Father's Day. Hanging out with my dad and cooking out for the family and everything. It's fun.
And we're not talking about the NBA anymore.
Yeah.
It's all over.
Yeah, Golden State Warriors, 4th championship. Is this a dynasty? Ugh.
Having said that, has to be my the Celtics in 6 has to be my worst take. Here's the thing. Through 3 games, I looked pretty smart.
You did.
Then Jason Tatum just, I got this far. That's fine. Or no more things.
Right. The backlash of the NBA championship as the Larry O'Brien goes back to Golden State. And I saw the stat earlier today. It was in the last 25 years or something like that. Steve Kerr has won 33% of all the NBA titles.
Congratulations.
Good job for you. Of course, with the Bulls, with the Spurs, and now with the Golden State Warriors. But we don't have to worry about that because it's football time.
Yeah, now it's full-on football season. And thankfully, we got football news.
Yes.
Got Deshaun Watson news, got Rob Gronkowski news.
Yep.
The Rob Gronkowski news is not so great for your team.
It's so sad. Yeah, now it leaves us with Cameron Brate. Yeah. And that kid that you liked in the draft, Cade Otton.
I do like Cade Otton.
Yeah.
I already see how this is going to go.
How long is this going to last?
I knew you were going to say
over or under 40 days.
That Rob doesn't play?
Yeah.
I don't think he plays again.
Really?
Look, retirement's one of those things, you can play this game once.
Mm-hmm.
The second time, it's, okay, you better be real sure. I didn't think he was going to play anyway. I chalked up everything for the Bucs in the offseason that you better plan on something to happen at tight end.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and you can vouch for this. You're a Bucs fan. He looked 1,000 at times last year.
Well, of course he did. Of course he did. I mean, this is a guy who, when he retired the first time, it was like, don't come back. kept saying for years, he's one back injury away from never playing again.
Well, I mean, and he played a very specific way. You knew it wasn't going to age particularly well.
Mm-hmm.
So for him to be done at 32, I'm not surprised.
We got more defections from the PGA to the Tour 54.
And there's going to be more, and it might happen before this show is over.
Brooks Koepka and Abraham Ancer both announcing today that they are leaving the PGA and going to the LIV, the LIV tournament.
I told you.
Yep.
And the one that I'm still expecting to defect has not defected yet.
Yet is the key word. We'll talk about that coming up later on in the program. We've got a dysfunctional program for you today because that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about the most dysfunctional franchises, teams, ownership groups, whatever, in sports throughout the program today. Hit us up in the comments on the YouTube stream. Just go to thesportsocracy.com. Don't forget to click on the live video link on the front page. Be sure to hit the subscribe button once you get into the YouTube channel. And, of course, that will get you into the chat. And you'll have the ability to join the House of Reprehensibles and all the great things. But most dysfunctional teams is what the goal of the day is.
Well, and you've got Deshaun Watson that now 20 of his 24 civil lawsuits have been settled.
Mm-hmm.
Tremendous. That's just belief for you. There are 4 that still, according to Tony Busby, there are 4 more that will not be settled.
Right.
This is going to go to some form of litigation.
Right.
And I've heard the narrative that, well, the settlement, that makes it more likely that he's going to play. I don't agree with you. The reason this decision hasn't come out, it has nothing to do with the 24 we already know. If they knew definitively that was it, okay, we can issue a ruling.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is the numbers aren't adding up.
Right.
And for that to come out the Tuesday after Cleveland leaks that they're willing to pay half of Baker Mayfield's salary to facilitate a trade, it's just stacking stupidity on top of each other.
You mean half? You'll pick up half the tab?
And they still want a draft pick.
God.
Which
they
is
are so
insane.
out to lunch.
The Cleveland Browns are that gross guy. The gross guy that goes to bars and just pounds Fireball and thinks everybody's his best friend.
So Jeremy Greene.
No.
Sorry,
you've met my wife, so scoreboard.
Yeah.
I don't really think I apply here.
I had to. You're just the first guy that goes to the bar and pounds Fireball.
Well, I mean, in fairness, that did describe me pretty well. So
it did.
You think you're much more attractive than you are. Cleveland is one of those, I like to call them imitation intelligent.
Okay.
If you had to guess what team has lost the most games since 2000, who is it?
Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
They are not nearly as high as you think. They're
really?
22nd on the list, so there are 10 teams behind them.
Oh, okay.
And we asked this question on our social media, who is the most dysfunctional franchise in the NFL?
Mm-hmm.
And we got a slew of answers.
Mm-hmm.
It's Cleveland. It's Cleveland. And I feel like what has happened over the last few years makes people forget this is who they are. The reason that Deshaun Watson is a Cleveland Brown, the reason I was so confident of that when we went into this offseason, they're the only team that would do it.
Right.
They were the only team with a star quarterback that they would pay the money to. If you remember when we were doing this Deshaun Watson thing, there was Atlanta was in, New Orleans was in, Carolina was in, but nobody ever got any traction because nobody on this planet thought this was a good idea. Now you're stuck in this great big limbo.
Mm-hmm.
If you had to guess, this actually dumbfounded me, and it was my stat. What percentage of games do you think the Cleveland Browns have won over the last 22 years?
39.
You're too high. It's 33.
Wow.
They lose 2 for every 3 they play.
Right.
So who's shocked? Oh, but Kevin Stefanski. Okay. That's like your loser friend. He meets the one girl and everybody likes her, and okay, well, it's not going to last for long.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, you can get the pretty girl to go out with you, but if you have a drinking problem, it's probably not going to last for a real long time. And that's what Cleveland is in a nutshell. This is the worst run franchise you will ever see. And this thought that just because Deshaun Watson has settled these, well, now it's going to get quiet. No, it's not.
No, it won't.
No, it's not. It's not going to be quiet this down. Like I said, if the delay in the discipline was what you already knew, why haven't you already done it?
Mm-hmm.
How many times have we asked that question on this show? Why have you not done this yet? Because there's something out there that somebody knows or is not comfortable with the answer that they've gotten.
Right.
And from everything I've been told on the NFL side, they're just not comfortable that he's telling them the truth. They're not comfortable that they're not going to issue this.
How can you be? How can
you can't.
Right. How can you be comfortable when
no matter what you think happened, you're in the same boat we're in. You weren't in the room, so you don't really know. You're entitled to your opinion, but your opinion means very little.
Exactly.
You can't look at this and go, well, I'm sure that's it. Because we sat at 6 for quite some time.
Mm-hmm.
Then it escalated to 20.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're at 24.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you do? What do you do if you're Cleveland? This is not that hard to figure out.
What do you mean? What do you do?
Cleveland is sitting in this holding pattern. All right, so and this goes to that dysfunction thing we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
They're sitting in this holding pattern with Deshaun Watson. Well, you're stuck there. It's $230 million. I don't care what Mike Florio says. You're not getting out of that money.
Right.
I'm not a lawyer, but I have enough of an understanding of this contract. You ain't getting out of that.
Mm-hmm.
But there's one thing that you can control. You can control Baker. You can get rid of that headache.
Yes.
What is the actual rationale between why you haven't done that?
I don't know.
There's not one. You can rack your brain for that all you want to. It's because you're a dysfunctional fan base.
Mm-hmm.
Because you are the laughingstock of this league. We asked this question, 60% of the answers at least mentioned Cleveland at some point.
Mm-hmm. The only reason I would be hanging on to Baker at this point is I may have to play him.
There is no path where you play him. None. You will play Gillian, the punter, the mulleted punter before you start Baker Mayfield.
Right.
I have a better shot of starting for the Cleveland Browns than Baker Mayfield does.
Oh, I don't disagree.
But you have to admit the mistake. This is a team that they've made so many mistakes, and then it got a little better. But you're still that kid that just can't do anything right. At the end of the day, that's what you will always be.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how you get here. Because you don't want to admit that you made a boo-boo. In spite of the fact people like me were screaming it the minute the name came out of the commissioner's mouth. But you can't admit the mistake. You want to prove. It's like going to a high school reunion. All right, so over the weekend, we went to the Colt Ford concert out at Silverados in Black Mountain,
mm-hmm.
and they had a 20th high school reunion there.
Okay.
Saw Josh Michael and a bunch of friends. I didn't go to Owen, but apparently I know half of the people that graduated from there.
So this was the 2000 class of the Owen Warhorse.
Yes, and there was the delay with coronavirus and things like that, so they're having the 20th high school reunion.
Right.
And you see people that they want to show, look how well I'm doing. Things are great. I'm not the same kid I was then. No, in large part you are.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you might have a better job. You might have grown up a little bit. There might be slight changes. But at the end of the day, you are who you are. And Cleveland, you can put lipstick on this pig all you want to. You're still the most dysfunctional franchise in this league, and it's not all that close.
Mm-hmm.
We had a slew of different answers. Washington football team, my New York Jets. And you just look at it and go, okay, which team of all of those would be in this situation? Who would put themselves here?
Washington football team.
I disagree with you. Washington could have had Baker. They could have had Baker, and they went, no, we're good.
Mm-hmm.
We'll take the big ginger who breaks every time the wind blows.
Right.
You know why? Because he's quiet. Vast majority of NFL fans have no idea what Carson Wentz's what his voice sounds like.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have instability with the organization, you got weirdness with the owner. Yeah, you have a bit of a stable coach, but that's a very transient part of the organization. So at quarterback, you need a little stability. And that's what most of these teams look at is, okay, we can't have that guy. We can't have that guy. We can't. So now you've got a quarterback that you paid $230 million guaranteed.
Mm-hmm.
You have no idea what you're going to get out of him. At some point, you have to look at this year and go, it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
You can't worry about in the moment. If you're going to make this decision, you can't worry about what happens this year. This was a long-term play. You're trying to get away from with the Jets, it's the same old Jets. If I've heard that phrase once, I've heard it 10,000 times.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do that in one move.
That's the thing that I have laughed at about this offseason and the discussion about getting out of the Deshaun Watson deal and all of that. Why would they do that? Why would the Cleveland Browns do that? They obviously gave him $230 million guaranteed for a reason.
Because you had to.
And they structured it because they knew this might happen. They knew he might miss out on the entire season. Is he going to be worth that next year? Is he going to be worth that year after next?
He was never going to be worth it. Deshaun Watson was never going to be worth this contract. You gave it to him because you had to.
Mm-hmm.
This is like the guy that's the 4 that's married to a 10. Hi. Yeah, you buy boats and you go on expensive vacations. You know why? Because you're going to do everything in your power to keep her happy because you will never come close to doing this well again. That's the whole reason he's there. He specifically said, I don't want to go to Cleveland. What changed?
Money.
They did something that nobody else was willing to.
Yes.
Guarantee all the money. Oh, we don't care if you play this year. So now all of your decisions have to stem into that tide, which is why it is absolutely laughable that you would float this idea. Well, now we're willing to pick up $9 million of the 18. You're still going to be on the hook for the rest, and we're going to want a draft pick back.
The only thing you could be banking on at this point, if you're the Cleveland Browns, is an injury. Somebody's starting quarterback gets injured, and somebody's going to jump up. I don't know who that could possibly be. I don't know who would jump on it.
Hypothetically, name me the team that would do that. And I'm not even talking about Garoppolo. Let's say Baker was your only option.
Yep.
You go here, or you go into the season with who you have on the roster. I still don't see a team that would do it. I still don't. Right. Because it doesn't make any sense. We asked this question over the weekend. Who would say no to the Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield thing that we talked about last week? You know what answer I got universally?
What's that?
Between Browns fan groups, Panthers fan groups, just sports fans on the whole. It was Carolina 97% of the time.
Of course it was.
There were a handful of people that I'm going to wager wear dog masks on Sundays. Well, Cleveland wouldn't do that. Why would we give up Baker? Okay. Don't even have to click on that little bubble to see that you're probably a brownie.
Yeah. It's 100% the Carolina Panthers. It's about the devil that you know and the devil you don't know. You don't want to go down the Baker Mayfield path when Sam's fine.
Our buddy Snowman.
Sam's fine as it is.
Our buddy Snowman in the Morning hosts a morning show. It does the same thing we do, and a fantastic job of it. You can find him on all the social medias. Our first super chat of the day said it's the Browns. I can't disagree with you enough. Now, is the way I phrased it, you could be right. At this point, you have to cut bait. I don't care if you play Jacoby Brissett. I don't care who the quarterback is. You have got to get some of this noise away. We're at the deadest point of the football calendar. We have talked about the Cleveland Browns, I feel like, every time we've mentioned football for a month.
Yes.
If not longer.
It's the biggest question out there.
And that's the thing. At some point, you have to get rid of this. This has to go, and there are other things that could take our attention, I promise you. But every single day, something comes out. Whether it's Deshaun, Baker, just the absolute insanity of this front office. You have to quieten the noise at some point. If you don't, well, Brown's going to Brown. And you'll be that same for every 3 games you play. You lose 2 of them franchise that you've been for your entirety, mainly.
So are we ranking Cleveland number 1? Number 1 most dysfunctional franchise?
They're not mine.
No.
But there's a specific reason they're not mine. Now, don't get me wrong. They're 2 with a bullet. But they're not my 1.
All right, we'll talk about the other dysfunctional franchises coming up next right here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Well, summer is officially underway. Comfortable cool numbers tonight, down to 59 degrees, but we'll bring some heat for the midweek forecast. Low 90s tomorrow in Asheville, and we will flirt with records. Record tomorrow, 94 from 1964. And we'll be close, but I think we'll be just shy of records tomorrow. And then upper 80s on Thursday. I'm meteorologist Scott Laurie. More. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This report is sponsored by Lowe's. Sign up for Lowe's MVP's Pro Rewards and Partnership Program and get exclusive rewards to help level up your business. Program subject to terms and conditions, valid through 12/31/22. See lowes.com/L/pro loyalty terms, subject to change.
Hey, hon, do me a favor and hold the ladder for me.
I have a better idea. Let's just call somebody to clean the gutters.
To scoop out a few leaves? Come on, I'll be down in a heartbeat.
No!
Using a ladder might seem easy. Misusing one is even easier. For tips on ladder safety, visit orthoinfo.org. A public service message from the American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons, who want to keep your bones safe, strong, and well-connected.
Welcome to Allstate, where you can save just by being you. DriveWise and the Allstate mobile app gives you personalized driving feedback, and by adding it to your policy, you can save for driving safe just by being yourself. Allstate. Here, better protection costs a whole lot less. You're in good hands with Allstate. Click, call, or visit allstate.com to save today.
Not available in every state. Savings based on DriveWise and other safe driving discounts. Savings vary. Subject to terms and conditions. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Here's to the great American settlers. The millions of you who settled for unsatisfying jobs because they pay the bills. Of course, there is something else you could do if you got something to say. Start a podcast with Spreaker from iHeart and unleash your creative freedom. Maybe even earn enough money to one day tell your old boss, "Hey, I'm no settler. I'm an explorer." Spreaker.com. Spreaker. Hustle on over today.
It's a can't-miss summer on Today. This week, hot fashion trends, from bestsellers to big events. And Jill Martin has the summer steals and deals you need. Plus, Kim Kardashian, Julie Andrews, and a concert with pop star Conan Gray. Watch the Today Show every morning on NBC.
At Charmin, we heard you shouldn't talk about going to the bathroom in public, so we decided to sing about it.
I love my Charmin Super Mega Golden Rolls, yeah. Goals last long, it's TP Goals, yeah. Charmin's got 6 rolls in one, lasts forever on my buns. Only Super Mega when I'm cleaning. Charmin's got my booty believing.
Charmin Super Mega Roll is 6 regular rolls in one. Enjoy the go with Charmin.
Everyone's heard about the housing market and this being the best time to sell a house in years. But the same thing applies to cars. Whether you're looking to buy a car, trade in, or sell that car in the driveway collecting dust, Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville wants to buy your car. They have 2 on-site managers that work with Kelley Blue Book to give you top dollar for your vehicle. You can even have your car appraised instantly at AndersonNissan.com. Stop in and visit them today at 629 Brevard Road in Asheville, or call them at 828-365-1663.
Just keep your eye on the ball. At Ingles, we know that big dreams don't always make it to the big leagues. But we also know that baseball, it's family. It's about building character. And as sure as there'll be some stumbles on that journey from first to home, we'll be right there, cheering you on. This is baseball, and this is who we are. Ingles, we're with you every step of the way.
The Sportsocracy.
These guys are a f***ing disgrace.
Most dysfunctional franchises in all of sports. Mentioned in the chat on the YouTube stream, thesportsocracy.com. Don't forget to click on that live video link. Hit the subscribe button so you can join us in the chat. We've got the super chat here from Armchair Commentary, who says, how do you even fix that level of organizational dysfunction? Talking about the Cleveland Browns. Also, it's the Phoenix/Arizona Coyotes by a mile.
I love that you called them the Coyotes. That's phenomenal.
Coyotes.
Coyotes. They're the Coyotes.
Whatever.
Although I will split the difference and allow you to call them the Coyotes.
The Coyotes.
That is the only franchise that I know of that has been locked out of their own arena.
True.
So, I mean, I feel like that puts you in the top 5 for just being alive.
I mean, they play in a college arena, a catch-all arena on the ASU campus. They've gone bankrupt at one point. Tried to sell it, nobody wanted it.
I'm dumbfounded that we've asked this across all of the social platforms. I have still yet to see the answer, and I think it's the answer, and I don't think it's all that close.
Really?
It's the New York Knicks. It's the New York Knicks, and it's not even – I don't even think there's another team in the ballpark. Like Cleveland's – they're on the same street.
Right.
But the Knicks are the big house on the hill.
Yes, they are.
Ask yourself this question. And we're talking about dysfunction.
Mm-hmm.
That's the narrative of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Kyrie Irving is saying my future in Brooklyn, I'm not so sure. Why was the first place you thought of him going was the New York Knicks? Because it's the only team that would take him.
Right.
I've heard this story for 3 solid days. Well, Kyrie, you do realize that no team with any options would take him.
Of course not.
The Lakers, I've heard the Lakers incessantly. Make that work.
Mm-hmm.
I will give you all of the doubloons to make that work because it's not physically possible. There's nothing they can do.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have the contracts. They don't have the movability. It won't work. And they obviously can't sign him outright.
Not even Russell Westbrook?
No.
They won't make it work?
No. And I'm not a capologist, but I can tell you that it doesn't work.
Right.
And you look at a player like that, and he has there's a little Baker Mayfield to Kyrie Irving.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying you're not a decent enough player. If we compare just talent for talent, every team in the league would want you.
Yes.
Then you get into everything else. And that's why I can't actually come up with a solution. I think the Brooklyn Nets deserve to be said in this. Hugh Queen, I knew somebody said it, but I couldn't remember who it was. Hugh Queen, I got to give him credit. He was the one that I saw say the New York Knicks, and to me, it's not even close.
Yeah.
First of all, you have an owner that sings folk songs and kicks your legends out of the arena. I will dare you to match that with any other franchise.
The Knicks are very high on the list. I don't know that they're – I mean, I guess they are. I guess they are the most dysfunctional because they're the one franchise that everybody wants to talk about of being, the New York Knicks is such a destination. No, it hasn't been a destination since 1997.
Theoretical question. Since 2004, how many times have the Knicks made the playoffs?
Twice?
It's 4 times.
Oh, okay.
They've won a series once.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, it's the Knicks solely because people look at them as a premier franchise. You're not.
Money-wise, they are, though, aren't
No,
they?
they're not.
They still make money.
Yeah, 'cause you have Madison Square Garden.
Right.
And because I'm going to be honest with you, I'm a New York fan. I can tell you there are a slew in our comments right now. They'll all echo what I'm getting ready to say. We really like having a reason to be angry at something, and our sports teams allow that.
Of course. Every one of them except for the New York Yankees.
And their fans might be the angriest of all.
Yeah, but that's because their expectations are so high because they have
never
nothing
live
else.
up to it.
They have nothing else to lean on. Well, you could be the Giants. I mean, granted, they have won a couple of Super Bowls in recent memory, but
recent memory?
Yeah.
There are children that are getting ready to drive cars that have seen them be good for about 3 years total.
Right. You got the New York Jets, who are just awful.
I don't know if I'd say awful.
I mean, I think everybody would.
I don't know if I'd say awful. I'd say the best team in the AFC East.
You got the Brooklyn Nets, who, great. You got KD and Kyrie, but all the drama surrounding them. You've never won anything.
Name me the well-run franchise in New York.
It's the Yankees.
Oh, you mean the one, the franchise that has 4 times the money of anybody else?
Yep.
It's hard to not be competitive when you can outspend people to that level.
Sure.
That's not a well-run organization. If I had expounded this into what's the most dysfunctional city, I would have fought you over New York tooth and nail. And that's with Cleveland. They might have the 3 worst organizations in 3 sports.
True.
Still not beating New York.
Yeah.
Still not beating New York. And you have the layers of expectation. We didn't even mention the Mets.
No,
which are their own little.
Well, because the Mets are.
I see people wearing Mets clothing, and I just want to hug them.
The Mets are the Knicks of the baseball world.
I did.
They go out and they chase all of these pipe dreams of being competitive, and really, what in the end has it gotten you? You go out and you spend all this money on these contracts. Now, granted, they're having a pretty good year this year, but they'll figure out a way to screw it up.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
They always do.
I did Adam Gold's Roundtable on Friday, and he's got a stream much like we do where you can watch his show online as he's doing it. Well, I noticed he was wearing a Mr. Met shirt. I just wanted to hug him. Like, I pull for the worst franchise you can possibly pull for, and yet you found a way to wear a shirt of the one that is worse than the ones I pull for.
He's a Jets and Mets guy.
Which is, I think that's why we get along so well.
Mm-hmm. You bathe in that misery when you're part of the franchise. When you're part of one of these dysfunctional franchises, it's just, I don't know. At some point as a fan, you got to turn to wearing it as a badge of honor. I have been through more than anyone else in history. Yeah.
Oh, I wear that badge with honor.
Absolutely.
Oh, your fandom is, come on, please. You're not in my weight class.
Right. That's the way I always used to be with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and then that changed when we won a couple of Super Bowls. So
I don't necessarily think it changed. You took yourself out of the dregs.
Mm-hmm.
But you're still, come on. You're much closer to down here.
Sure. But I mean, what? Every time we have this discussion, you and I get into this whizzing match of who's had it worse.
Oh, it's
no
me.
question, it's
me.
you.
It's not even close.
I've got to see my team celebrate 2 Super Bowls, so yeah, I'll give you that one. But
I can literally beat anything you want, only using words that start with the letter B. Bill Belichick, butt fumble, Bill Parcells. Oh, let's see. There's another one. I know there's another one. Yeah, you know what? There's 3.
That's all you need.
I'm good. Oh, Brett Favre. I win.
Oh, there you go. You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. Time to get just a bit outside.
Boy, you must be outside your mind.
The Sportsocracy.
Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
No, leave it to baseball to do something stupid. Have you seen, Jeremy, the new hats, the new 4th of July hats?
No, I've seen these ridiculous. What are the city?
Yeah, the City Connect jerseys and stuff. I hate those.
Some of those are the White Sox. Theirs is fire.
Mm-hmm.
There are some of those that are horrendous.
The Boston ones are awful.
Yeah, they're pretty bad.
I hate them.
The Angels, they have the worst ones I've seen.
They're that like UCLA Bruins colors. Because that's apparently the colors of the city bus system or something. Like, it's awful. Awful. Hate it. Well, the 4th of July hats are out. New Era Company, of course, making all of the Major League Baseball hats. They have released the special Stars and Stripes hats for all 30 teams. What's the problem with that, Jeremy?
It's baseball? I have no idea.
Not all the teams are in America. Why would you put They have Stars and Stripes special edition Toronto Blue Jays hats out, and people are losing their minds about it.
I did not think of that.
Of course you should. Like, yay, America, we're rooting for a team that's not even in this country. And I get it, there are a lot of of Toronto Blue Jays fans that live in America.
Well, it's a very transient city.
It is. It's a very transient city, upstate New York. A lot of those people up there, probably Toronto Blue Jays fans. But every 4th of July, they're the only team that doesn't wear the Stars and Stripes. Why would you even make the hats? Why would you even make the hats in production? You know you're not going to sell that many of them because it's just ridiculous.
I want to wear one just to now I want to buy one just for spite.
So they're red. The logos of each team are all in red. And then it's got like this, I want to say this like 1990s kind of, paint strokes that are broken up. It's just top is the blue stars and then the bottom is the red stripes. They're not bad if you pull for a team from America. Don't know why you would create these. Usually on 4th of July, the Toronto Blue Jays will wear their Canadian hats, just a red hat with a maple leaf on the front of it. They may do the same this year, but here you go. Baseball and New Era making a major faux pas once again.
I actually may have a reason to watch baseball. There is a pizza place in Omaha, Nebraska. It's called Rocco's.
Okay.
Rocco's Pizza and Cantina.
Any good?
I have no idea. But they do have a challenge that, A, I think I would be an asset to any fan base, and B, I think it'd be a lot of fun to participate in. Apparently, every year around the College World Series, they have a Jell-O shot challenge.
Okay.
Here's how this works. They sell these for $4.50. First of all, okay, I get inflation, but that's
a little high.
quite aggressive for a Jell-O shot.
Right.
Unless you're 10,000 of them.
Unless your Jell-O shots are actual, like, Jell-O cups.
I don't care if it's a pudding cup. That's still aggressive for what that is. All right, they'll be greedy. The record going into this year was 2,968 servings. That was Mississippi State in 2021. So the way this works is that you go in, and when you order, they ask, which team are you affiliated with? Mm-hmm. Because basically Omaha is overrun by the fan bases of these teams, and virtually anyone that's in this place is affiliated with a team.
Right.
This year, by themselves, 2 schools have beaten that record by more than 1,500 apiece.
Already?
We have the final total. I haven't told you this yet.
You have not.
Nope. Care to take a stab at who the 2 schools are? I gave you the ones that are in this.
I'm going to say...
So the 6 SEC schools, Notre Dame and Stanford.
Well, they got to be SEC schools.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to go Ole Miss and Texas A&M?
No.
Oh.
Ole Miss is 2 with 4,579. This is in 10 days, or a week.
Right.
8 days. Arkansas's at 56-44.
Holy
Hot
smokes.
pig suey just getting burnt. In a pizza place on a Tuesday. Let's go, Arkansas.
Why not? We're here for baseball.
This is who gave you John Daly and his son. So I cannot say that I'm all that surprised.
Very true.
That is an aggressive week.
That is a lot.
That is an aggressive week.
Hey,
that's not a huge stadium.
As we found out in the Chapel Hill Super Regional, Arkansas baseball fans travel very well, apparently. And they don't have a shot to win a national championship in anything else. So
how many Pepsi ACs and Alka-Seltzers has that led to?
That's a lot. That's a lot. I mean, and we're not even through the playoffs. I mean, we're not even through the College World Series.
Oh, we're not done yet.
No.
They have called the competition, though, because fan bases have started going home.
Right.
So it's not once the first team's eliminated, it's no longer fair.
I would love.
I don't
to
really
see
think
what
it was fair in the first place, but I don't think Notre Dame and Stanford really had much of a chance in this. Just throwing that out there.
Right. I would love to see what the grand total is going to be for Arkansas, especially if they have to win today. It's a double elimination tournament. They have to win today. They're playing Auburn. And if they made it all the way to the end, I mean, that's another week and a half.
As a representative of West Virginia, all I'm going to say is that we are all on line 3 saying, just let us get into this. We'll set a mark that you'll never touch.
I guess actually it's just another week because it all wraps up this weekend.
Yes.
Or early next week, depending on how long the final series goes. But you asked me this question earlier, and I had no idea. I could only name like 3 teams that were still in it because after the Tar Heels lost, I stopped paying attention.
Yeah, I told you that was Arkansas had found a loophole, and they were exploiting it.
Yes, they were, and they are still in it as of right now. Playing in the is this the 3rd round now of the College World Series double elimination tournament? One more game to go for them. Wanted to throw this one in there too, as Shaq went out for dinner the other night, New York City. Paid for the entire restaurant's meal.
That's a great deep flex.
Of course it is. And apparently he was there with a date. He only referred to this person who was with him as, this is my date. She apparently did all the ordering, according to all the, I guess, the paparazzi reports that were there. But they went to Jew Lawn Club around 8:30 Sunday night. O'Neal paid for everyone in the restaurant's meals, which totaled over $25,000, according to Page 6.
That is a
I wish
deep
I had
flex.
I wish I had that kind of money.
I would never do that.
Yeah, even if you had bukus of millions of dollars like Shaq
A room
does.
full of people that I don't know?
Yeah.
It's one thing if I know you all.
Especially if you're trying to impress a girl.
Oh, it's not how I would personally go about it, but okay, more power to you. You got that kind of money, you throw it around.
Shaquille O'Neal did make sure to tell the waitresses that not to let anybody else know that he had picked up the tab on everybody's meal so they didn't go crazy. But he did pick up the tab for the entire restaurant at 8:30 on Sunday night. Just a good old time out on the town. Most dysfunctional franchises, we haven't mentioned the Los Angeles Lakers, but I feel like we have to. I mean, I know that they just won a championship 2 years ago.
Yeah, they've got there's way too many credits there.
You can't put them in that discussion.
No.
They're
temporarily dysfunctional.
I was going to say, with the state of that team, the way it is, with Anthony Davis, who can't stay healthy, with LeBron James, who's aging out, Russell Westbrook, who's absolutely useless, at least in this system, they can't ever decide on a coach. They've got Rob Pelinka running the show, which I have no faith in Rob Pelinka.
That's why you shouldn't, but this is a midlife crisis. This is the most consistent franchise in the sport, and it's outside of Boston, not all that close.
Okay.
And Boston did most of their ringing things up in the 60s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Laker fans. You throw the Lakers at me. They're not even more dysfunctional than my 2023 NBA champion Denver Nuggets.
Oh, I would highly disagree with that.
You would be
at least
super wrong.
Point. Historically speaking, yes.
No, I mean, that's how this works. You're not temporarily dysfunctional. You go through a little midlife crisis, which is what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Since Dr. Buss died, they've been, let's just say the kids are not necessarily equipped to run this team.
Right.
Still the Lakers.
What about the Chicago Bears?
Chicago's historically inept. I mean, historically inept.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, name me the high water mark for the Bears since I was born.
2005?
Yeah, Rex Grossman.
Yeah.
There you go. That was also a midlife crisis.
Yeah.
That was the one time that you bought a sports car and you looked kind of cool with your mullet for about an hour.
It's the only team that I can think of that ever made a Super Bowl and their best player was their punt returner.
It's also not incorrect.
Right? But especially, you look at that team now, and regardless of what you think of Matt Eberflus and what's the guy's name that took over as the
Ryan
GM
Poles.
there? Thank you, Ryan Poles. I kept wanting to say Ryan Payson. I knew that was the old one.
That was the one that got them in the shape.
Right, exactly. But then you look at how this offseason has gone. It hasn't started well.
They're a historically very middle-of-the-pack franchise.
Jacksonville Jaguars.
That's a given. That's a layup. Jaguars and the Lions, they both got said a lot.
Houston Texans.
See, that one I don't understand.
Why?
That team is so, in terms of the NFL landscape, they're so young.
Mm-hmm.
They had some really good years. Now, you kind of got off track with Butt-Chin when you gave him personnel control.
Right.
Ask yourself this. 10 years from now, do you think that team is better or worse than they are right now?
Hopefully they'll be better.
Oh, well, they couldn't hardly be any worse. That's a team that, over the course of they've been a team for, 20 years? This will be I think this is either the 20th or the 21st season.
Something like that.
Made the playoffs 6 times. You're not even in the ballpark of the Browns and the Lions and the Jaguars and the Jets.
I feel like the current dysfunction level, though, it's still there because you still have all of these guys in charge that bungled the Deshaun Watson thing.
It is, and what it all ties back to is ownership.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one thing you can't get rid of.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at all of the teams that we've said here, what do they all have in common?
Bad owner.
Really, I'm not going to say bad because not all of them are bad. I'll take my Jets. Woody Johnson's not a bad owner.
Okay.
He's very cash flush, and he's not averse to spending his money. If you're wondering why the Rams and the Saints and all of these other teams, we touched on this at one point last week. It's because you have an owner that's cash flush.
Mm-hmm.
They can look at a $90 million guaranteed deal and just go, yeah, I can write that check right now. It's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Not every owner can do that. So I can't say that Woody's a bad owner. It's just mismanaged. And in large part, it's a lot of people that are, I'll say they have a little bit of an inferiority complex. Woody Johnson has a little bit of an inferiority complex. I just want to be this. I want to be this great owner looking at the Mara family. Mm-hmm. We're in the same building. We share ownership of this stadium, and I'm never going to be better than second.
Yep.
But then you get Shad Khan, the same guy that started a professional wrestling organization. Why? Because you're trying to compete with Vince McMahon.
Washington Commanders, also on that list.
That's a bad owner.
I mean, Dan Snyder, worst owner in sports. I don't think it's really close.
Ooh. Worst
all
owner?
Of the stuff that he's been through, all of the culture allegations against how things worked inside the organization, and now apparently hiding money from other teams so he didn't have to pay out. The team's not very good. I mean, they got some good young stars on defense. I'll give them that, but still not a good team.
No. But I at least feel like things are going in the right direction. You at least saw him hire a coach that you somewhat believe in. I feel like nobody can be lower on Ron Rivera than I am. And even I looked at that and went, well, that's a culture hire. Mm-hmm. You're at least learning a little bit.
Trying to.
He's a terrible owner. I'm not trying to justify that he's not. You just said he's clearly the worst. I feel like Mark Davis is just banging on the door of that as aggressively as he can.
Or Jimmy Dolan.
Oh, yeah, he's bad.
Yeah. Obviously, there are some in baseball. Pittsburgh Pirates, God love you. Just doing stuff.
In baseball, I can't look at any of the teams that are just at a horrid money deficit. Baltimore Orioles, Pittsburgh Pirates, Oakland A's, mm-hmm. Tampa Bay Rays. Mm-hmm. You don't have
Miami Marlins.
A tenth of the money that these other, the high-end organizations of that sport have.
Right.
I mean, you're doing the best you can with what you have.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just, you look at any team that hasn't made the playoffs since 2013, or excuse me, 2015. They haven't won a playoff game since 2013. And they are just bad year in and year out. And every time they get a star, they just churn him and burn him. Miami Marlins,
that's what
same
baseball
thing.
does.
Yeah.
It's how baseball works.
Yeah, Miami Marlins,
that's
same
the reason
thing.
the Tampa Bay Rays have actually been competitive is because they found a way to do that and churn it into prospects that are actually become something.
Right. The Miami Marlins gave some control to one of the greatest players of all time in Derek Jeter, and even he backed off and went, okay, I can't do this.
Can't do this. They're terrible.
Can't do this.
They're terrible. It's making my head hurt. I don't like it.
They've had one season since 2009. One season where they've been over 500, and that was the coronavirus shortened 60-game season that they had. And in that time, they've had 7 seasons where they've lost at least 90 games.
That's
awful.
Brutal.
Yeah, absolutely terrible. And I'm going to throw these out there as well. Actually, you know what? Let's take a break, and I'll give you 2 more. Could qualify as dysfunctional franchises. Coming up next, right here on ESPN Asheville.
I believe real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. I am Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina. Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
Rogue Combat Club, Asheville's home for comprehensive martial arts training, has a goal for our community, one that's stronger, more fit, and unwavers in its support of one another. Rogue Combat Club's instructors have competed at the highest levels and offer classes for everyone from young children to adults in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and wrestling. Rogue Combat Club classes can help you boost your self-confidence and self-defense skills while weeding out the egos and intimidation found at other gyms. Join today at roguecombatclub.com.
On Monday, July 4th, start your celebration off with a bang at the Asheville Independence Day 5K. It takes place at 8 a.m. with a start and finish at the Carrier Park Velodrome. Bring your family and friends out to celebrate on a fun, fast, and flat course. There's prizes and awards for age groups as well. Part of the proceeds benefit the Beloved Village Project. For more information and to get signed up, go to avlindependenceday5k.com. avlindependenceday5k.com. Proudly sponsored by iHeartMedia, Asheville.
Doug.
Chances are you're jamming in your car right now. And since Liberty Mutual customizes car insurance so you only pay for what you need, Limu and I are going to show you some safe car dance moves. Hit it. Everybody, check your blind spots real quick. Now hands on the wheel. Put them 10 in 2 and move your head like a bird do. Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
You should be watching the World Cup right now, but you're not. Want to know why? Well, it's an interesting story, a mix of true crime, political scandal, and slow simmering corruption. You'll hear all about it on our new podcast, The Lords of Soccer, How FIFA Stole the Beautiful Game. I'm Connor Powell. The 12-part series from iHeartRadio and Inside Voices is out now. Listen to The Lords of Soccer on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey Dad, cool if I change this?
They may not get each other's music, but they can both get a COVID-19 booster shot. Because the CDC recommends booster shots for people 12 years and older after completion of a primary series. Schedule an appointment as soon as you are eligible. Sponsored by BioNTech and Pfizer.
Welcome to Allstate, where you can save just by being you. DriveWise in the Allstate mobile app gives you personalized driving feedback, and by adding it to your policy, you can save for driving safe just by being yourself. Allstate. Here, better protection costs a whole lot less. You're in good hands with Allstate. Click, call, or visit allstate.com to save today.
Not available in every state. Savings based on DriveWise and other safe driving discounts. Savings vary. Subject to terms and conditions. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Hey Dad, cool if I change this?
They may not get each other's music, but they can both get a COVID-19 booster shot. Because the CDC recommends booster shots for people 12 years and older after completion of a primary series. Schedule an appointment as soon as you are eligible. Sponsored by BioNTech and Pfizer.
The Sportsocracy.
We're just dumber than a bag of hammers.
It's ESPN Asheville. You are in the Sportsocracy. Don't forget to check us out at thesportsocracy.com. Click on that live video link. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and you can get into the chat with us. Best way to get in touch with us immediately throughout the program here on ESPN Asheville. We were talking basketball teams, dysfunctional franchises. We did not mention the Sacramento Kings. You have to mention them when you're talking about dysfunction.
Oh, yeah, they're brutal.
Because they are just a god-awful franchise that has never meant anything in the pantheon of the NBA. Well, except for that one team. That one team that had, like, Mike Bibby and Chris Webber.
And Vlade Divac.
Yeah.
And Doug Christie.
Hot.
That team was actually really good.
They were good.
They just came up against the Lakers.
Was on those teams, wasn't he?
Oh, yeah.
With a white chocolate?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. They were fun to watch, and they made a run in the playoffs. But this is the only time they've ever been relevant in the NBA. The two that I wanted to mention, though, they're right in our backyard.
I knew
they have
one
to
of
be.
them.
They have to be. I don't think you can look at the Carolina Panthers' history and say that's not a dysfunctional franchise.
I vehemently disagree with you.
Why?
I mean, vehemently disagree with you.
Never had back-to-back winning seasons.
No.
You've been to a couple of Super Bowls, sure. That's great. You had an MVP at one time. Awesome. You look at the state of the franchise now with David Tepper, quarterback situation, all of the business things that are going on off of the field with the Carolina Panthers. I think they at least belong on the list. If you're doing a top 10, they're 10.
I don't. You could have convinced me on what I thought you were going to say right there, which is another team that's really close to here.
Oh, we're getting to that one.
Yeah, you can't convince me on Carolina.
Really?
No. They have 8 playoff wins. They've been a team since 1996.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're not convincing me on the Panthers. That's another one of those. All right, I'm going to be real honest about what you just said.
Yep.
That's one of those that I look at in my scenario going, if you really believe that, you are very spoiled by how good this team has been. Carolina's this 25, 26-year stretch of their existence would be the best stretch of 10 teams franchises. Mm-hmm. And you started from nothing. So, yeah, don't throw me that Carolina Panther nonsense.
Or, Colin Greene said David Tepper's not a bad owner. He's just a bad businessman. He's definitely not a bad businessman.
No.
There's a reason he's worth
David
$20 billion or whatever.
He's doing that thing that new owners do. They're trying to make their mark any way possible. And that leads to some missteps.
Mm-hmm. Definitely has made missteps with the head coaching situation there and all of that. And then there's the Charlotte Hornets.
That's the one I thought you were going to say.
They are, I think they both belong in this category. Charlotte Hornets, more than the Carolina Panthers, admittedly so. But what have we gotten from the hope and the hype that was Michael Jordan taking over this team?
I think that one's the one that – I'll tell you one of the most mind-boggling stats about the Hornets franchise. Since 2000, name me the teams, the two teams with the fewest wins.
Sacramento Kings.
Nope.
No.
Sacramento's 8 up the list.
Really?
Yeah. Dead last is the Charlotte Hornets.
Mm-hmm.
Next to last, the team that used to be the Hornets, the New Orleans Pelicans. Now they don't have the lowest win percentage because obviously they weren't a team.
Right.
Times.
Right.
But, I mean, yeah, I can get down with the Hornets.
Yeah.
And I'm not – I think they have turned a corner. I never thought theirs was bad ownership. I always thought they had a few problems that are going to be really hard to overcome, and LaMelo Ball might be the solution to that. Oh, you still got Michael Jordan as your owner, so it's not like you have bad ownership. It's just you need people that, okay, Michael, maybe you should stop making picks.
Right.
Because you're not good at this.
Right. Are we sure he's not a bad owner, though?
I don't think so. You can say it all you want to. I don't think he is.
I don't know. I guess I'm still stinging from the Kenny Atkinson defection over the weekend.
And that had nothing to do with Michael Jordan. That had to do with Kenny Atkinson didn't want to move.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. He'd moved 4 times in 4 years. He didn't want to do it again. I get it.
It says something, though. It says something when somebody says, I'll be your head coach for the next 4 years. And then, you know what? I'm actually going to stay and be an assistant with the current team I'm on. Granted, they just won a title. But I can't imagine that you wouldn't take your shot at being the head guy. It is what it is. You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Well, summer is officially underway. Comfortable cool numbers tonight, down to 59 degrees, but we'll bring some heat for the midweek forecast. Low 90s tomorrow in Asheville, and we will flirt with records. Record tomorrow, 94 from 1964. And we'll be close, but I think we'll be just shy of records tomorrow. And then upper 80s on Thursday. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This report is sponsored by Staples Stores. Staples offers tech solutions and accessories for learners, small business, and remote workers, too. Right now, Apple AirPods Pro are only $199. You save $50. Offer ends $625 while supplies last. Limit 2. Explore the latest tech solutions at Staples, the working and learning store.
Make this the year you go to our iHeartRadio Music Festival.
Tickets are on sale now at AXS.com.
iHeartRadio, let's go! A weekend full of superstar performances, never seen before collaborations, and once-in-a-lifetime moments you'll have to see to believe.
Friday, September 23rd and Saturday the 24th at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas.
Our 2022 iHeartRadio Music Festival.
Buy your tickets now at AXS.com.
Don't let breakfast be boring when it could be better. Wendy's Breakfast Baconator will have you feeling sunny side up all day long. Wake up to fresh cracked eggs, savory sausage, and oven-baked bacon, of course. Order it and start looking forward to tomorrow morning at participating U.S. Wendy's during breakfast hours only.
There's a lot of talk about the COVID-19 vaccines, and everyone has an opinion. So I went to somebody I already trusted, my doctor. Talk to your doctor or healthcare provider and make the decision that's right for you. Go to getvaccineanswers.org.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart Radio Station.
Is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson has settled 20 of the 24 lawsuits filed against him, according to the attorney representing the women who accused Watson of sexual misconduct. Those 20 lawsuits will be dismissed. NFL spokesman Brian McCarthy said today's development has no impact on the collectively bargained disciplinary process. The Browns are bracing for a lengthy Watson suspension, explains ESPN's Jake Trotter.
Could that be 8? Could that be 10, 12, the season? I think all of that is on the table. I think if anything above the 10 games for Deshaun Watson, you're looking at the potential of the 2022 season being almost a lost one, just because there is such a difference in talent between Deshaun Watson and then Jacoby Brissett.
Jake Trotter on Barton Hahn. After 11 NFL seasons and 4 Super Bowl championships, tight end Rob Gronkowski announcing his retirement from the NFL. He leaves the game with 92 career touchdowns, his 15 postseason TDs, the most ever by a tight end. NBA Mike D'Antoni said to meet with Hornets owner Michael Jordan today about the team's head coaching job, reports ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski.
Feeling great starts with a great shave. And great shaves start with Barbasol Shaving Cream. And for a limited time only, capture your Barbasol Jurassic World collector cans before they're gone.
Now, your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website, bank. That's bank. Enter it now.
Log on to ESPNAVL.com.
He's a degenerate gambler.
You are a smelly pirate hooker.
And he's cheaper than oxygen.
He's useless.
But somehow, they make it work. Jeremy Greene, Tank Spencer. There's no holding back in the Sportsocracy, presented by Ingles Supermarkets and Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
And welcome back into the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. I'm Tank Spencer. He's Flostradamus, Jeremy Greene. And we're talking, well, we were talking in the first hour, dysfunctional franchises in all of sports.
Lance Dominguez with a super chat. Love the show. I think the hands-down most dysfunctional franchise is the Washington football team. Snyder deserves to be launched from a cannon.
Bingo.
With, like a soft landing on the other side. Don't, I feel like that's crimes. I don't know what crime that is. It sounds like an 18th century crime.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot more Washington than I thought there would be.
Why, though?
You've won several Super Bowls. I understand that's been a long time ago.
I was going to say, it was the 80s.
All right, Lions, Jets, and Jaguars fans are on line one, and they would like to have a moment with you.
Look, just because the losing streak or the championship drought is longer for those teams.
Yeah, you got rings. Okay, my ring qualifies for AARP. When you can do that, then we talk.
It's a good point. But it doesn't mean that it's not a dysfunctional franchise.
Oh, I don't disagree. It got more than I thought it would.
When you think about the most dysfunctional teams in the NFL right now, you have to put the Washington football team in there, or the Washington Commanders, Houston Texans, still the Lions and the Jets, but both those teams have a little upside, we believe, to them. But there again, they're the Lions and the Jets. They're probably going to figure out a way to screw this up.
Absolutely.
You got the Jacksonville Jaguars, who are trying to climb out of the Urban Meyer debacle, but that's still dysfunctional. You got the Houston Texans, who are loaded with a bunch of nobodies. And that front office ain't changing because it just changed hands not too long ago. You can't really trust these teams and organizations any further than you can throw them. Cleveland Browns obviously being at the top of the heap with the dysfunction that they have of we've got a quarterback that we don't even know what's going to happen with him.
Speaking of not knowing what's going to happen, our little soiree into social media interaction, there was a reason we did that. It's because we've teamed up with 12 Bones. 12 Bones Brewing, and 12 Bones Smokehouse. Mm-hmm. We will be giving away weekly throughout the summer fan packs. They have gift cards and hats and tumblers and all kinds of things from our friends at 12 Bones. And our first qualifier, we did not disclose this just because we wanted to bring, you never know. You never know what happens. You might just win stuff for saying things.
Right.
Hugh Queen, our first qualifier, we'll have a drawing on Friday of the winners for this week. And the winner will get, they're worth about $50 worth of 12 Bones gift cards and swag and stuff. So congratulations, Hugh, and tune in Friday to see if you are our winner.
Excellent. So we will have a winner every day, do a drawing on Friday to decide the week's winner of the 12 Bones Smokehouse and Brewery prize pack.
Correct.
Very good. You are in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. We come to you, as always, live from the Ingles Studio. Ingles Supermarkets, low prices, love the savings, and brand new sponsor, Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville. We have shakeups continuing with the PGA. The PGA Tour is
dead. You can say it.
It's not dead.
It's dead. It's 100% dead. Because they did the one thing today that I told you, if you chase, that's when I know you're beat. Now the PGA is planning on changing their platform, and they're going to have international competitions with smaller fields and no cuts and bigger purses. You know what that is? The LIV.
That's Tour 54, yeah.
That's exactly what it is. Okay, so you're going to take their model and tell me that you're not legitimately worried about that because you have the best players in the world. Well, you just lost two more today.
Yep.
Brooks Koepka and Abraham Ancer.
Both top 20 golfers.
And I'm going to expound upon something I said last week. It ain't over yet. It ain't even close to over yet. Do you understand that now there are more players committed to the LIV than there are spots in their field?
Really?
What does that tell you? This is not like they found 48 guys and go, hey, we're just going to do this every week.
Poor Chase Koepka.
It was the first name I thought of. Man, you committed to this. You were gung-ho, and now you don't have a spot.
Now Brooks jumped into it, and there goes brother.
I have it on very good authority. There's a player currently in the top 10 of the world golf rankings that is going to be playing on this tour. And that should tell you everything you need to know. You've already got three now in the teens. You already had Dustin Johnson. Now you got Koepka and Abraham Ancer. Yep. That's three in the top 20. And it's not that hard to figure out. I'll ask you a question.
Okay.
If your boss comes to you and says you can work a quarter of as much for markedly more money, and we're not going to preclude you from making money in other places. You see how stupid that sounds when you say it out loud of all this, the outrage and all of the outrage of where the money comes from. Did you notice Greg Norman just turned that on his head? He had one response to it. Oh, really? That's your problem with this? Okay, then give the money back of all your sponsors that are in bed with the Saudis.
Right.
Crickets. It's what I said from the jump. Of this is so disingenuous, it's mind-boggling. I'm sure there are some people that are upset about that legitimately, and I'm not mad at you for that. I'm not going to begrudge somebody their money because I don't know how I would turn that down.
I couldn't.
Somebody comes to me and says, I'm going to multiply the most money you ever made in your life by 20. I don't think my first question is going to be, where's the money coming from?
No.
My first question is going to be, what is the catch?
Right.
Or do you have to set me on fire? Are you going to hit me very hard with something? When the answer is no, I'm probably going to go, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah. And now that you have big stars, major winners, four-time major winner Brooks Koepka, the latest to join the Tour 54, the PGA is panicking.
Absolutely, they are.
And frankly, they should. Because, I mean, there's apparently $600 billion backing up.
They'll never run out of money.
I mean, that's what the Saudi government, the public fund or whatever that this is all coming out of.
And they're obviously not committing that much money.
No.
They're not running out of money.
Right.
This is not going to be the USFL in the 80s where, well, you just wait them out and eventually they'll run out of money. Right. That ain't going to happen.
Right.
And you look at the U.S. Open was fantastic. All right, over the weekend, Matthew Fitzpatrick gets his first win. Poor Will Zalatoris. I just he's another one. I just want to hug. Do you realize he's played in 9 majors? He's finished second 3 times. That is hard to do. And he's such a good kid, too.
But he'll get there.
He'll get one eventually. His reaction should tell you everything you need to know about him. Have you seen the story about what happened after he missed the putt?
No.
If you didn't watch it, Matthew Fitzpatrick poured his driver into the fairway side bunker. It's the one thing you cannot do on that hole because nobody had come close all week from there. Well, then he did. Zalatoris had a putt that would have tied it. They would have gone to a playoff. He missed it by about the width of my pinky finger, and it looked good the whole way. He waited on the green to tell Matthew Fitzpatrick's mother, if I was going to lose to anybody, I'm glad it was your son.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's one of those that, like, all right, I'm going to root for you forever because you're at a level of classy that I'm not.
Right.
I missed that putt. I don't want anybody to talk to me.
Oh, no. You'd have been suspended for cussing and breaking things.
I would have thrown my entire bag in the creek, no doubt. Those clubs are dead to me now.
Right.
But the broader scale problem for the PGA, you're not getting the backing of all of these entities that you thought you would.
Mm-hmm.
Royal Troon, the USGA, they're not backing you up on this, and they're not going to. I hate to break this to you. You allowed this to go way too far. Now there's nothing you can do.
Right.
The only hang up now is, are you going to get World Golf points?
And they will. I think they will.
That's the one where I think they have enough influence that they might be able to keep that away.
I don't see how you can, especially if you're talking about more.
Well, guess who the decision maker is? Oh, it's Jay Moynihan, the director of the PGA.
He has final say.
He's one of the 8 board members.
Okay.
So I would wager there are enough
that
are
7-1.
I don't think it's going to be. That's the one that you lose that, now you're in trouble. Because that was, and even then,
as you said, there's, according to sources, there's another top 10 golfer out there.
At least.
I don't see how you don't. You can't have that many stars of the golf game be involved in this and not give it some legitimacy on the world golf ranking.
Well, they can draw the line in the sand. They can draw the line in the sand because even if they give them world golf points, you're not going to accrue as many as you think. Because that's a weighted system. Well, it's not even fewer events, there's fewer players in the field. So finishing, let's say you finish 10th in a 48-player field, that's not the same as finishing 10th of the U.S. Open. So even if they do get that, these guys are not going to be ranked highly. They're going to have to do something. I've done the math, and I can't quite narrow in. You have to be in the top 50, basically, to qualify for the majors automatically. I'm not sure that year over year you're going to be able to stay that high just playing in the LIV, even if they get world golf points. I'm not sure you'll be able to stay high enough just between that and the majors to automatically qualify. Here's the thing. All right, so you have to qualify for the U.S. Open. You think Dustin Johnson's going to go into a qualifier and lose?
Right.
It's not going to happen. I mean, yes, I understand there are great players all over the world. You're not Dustin Johnson.
Right.
So even on his worst day, he probably qualifies at one of these big qualifying events. And they basically made it known, we don't care. Oh, we can't play in the Ryder Cup. We don't care.
Right.
And now you're getting to such a point that look at the President's Cup teams and realize what happens if you don't let these guys play. There's no Koepka. There's no DJ. What exactly is that team going to look like? Because you have to have 12 Americans to contend against the world. That 12th American is not as sexy as it was before.
Right.
And these are high-end golf events. This is basically Greg Norman and a bunch of people that have long said the PGA. I heard somebody this morning call it a charity that was keeping all of the money. I'm not going to lie to you, that's a really good analogy.
It is.
It's a really good analogy. And they also drew the comparison to Dana White. Dana White looked at this long ago and said, nope, I can fix this. I could fix this model and make it better for the fighters, which is one of the things I've always laughed about people that rail against him for how much fighters make. Should have seen what it was before.
Oh, yeah.
Before he came along, you were getting $400 and $10 in credit from a hot dog stand.
Right.
So calm down on how unfair this is.
Probably some comp drinks at a gentleman's club or something like that.
Probably.
Right,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It wasn't a whole
Here's
lot.
3 free beers at the local gentleman's club. Congratulations.
And now the PGA is talking about taking more money, having new events added to the calendar next year. They're talking about completely flipping the calendar once again, which I'm all for because it never made sense to me how you have this. So the season starts in the fall and just goes around the clock. I don't know. I mean,
it's not completely around the clock.
Yeah.
The schedule legitimately starts September.
Mm-hmm.
It starts in about September and it runs through June. So there actually is a layoff. But, I mean, I don't understand why that doesn't make sense. This is not like baseball where you have to play every game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, guys play 15, 20 tournaments. It is what it is.
Just because I'm new to the sport and I don't really understand how, what's the starting of it. It's not like NASCAR where everybody knows the Daytona 500 in February, the week or 2 weeks after the Super Bowl, that's the start of the season. And the end of the season is Homestead. Like, they've been that way forever. I just never wrapped my head around it.
Well,
but if they go calendar year, if they go January to December or whatever it's going to be.
Yeah, you're just trying to put it in a box, and that's never how this is going to work.
I'm trying to put it in a box.
Well, it's never going to work that way because what the PGA Tour has done forever, they make their money because they put on 9,000 events. There are weeks where you have 4 competing events going against each other between the Korn Ferry, the PGA, the LPGA, and the Champions Tour.
Champions Tour, yeah.
That's how this works. So now you're falling into the trap. And I feel like this is what Greg Norman and this group that set this up, this is exactly what they wanted them to do. Because here's the problem. You're losing all of these big names. You're losing Phil and Brooks and Dustin Johnson. So how exactly are you going to market I'm just going to totally pick the 3M Open? We have 4 of the top 30 players in the world. Oh, I'm sure sponsors will line up in droves for that. Mm-hmm. So you're going to raise the stakes. You're going to take less trying to compete with their money. Sponsors are not going to pay as much. When you don't have Phil and the draws, they're not going to pay that much.
Right.
So what does that do? Puts you into a financial bind. And ultimately, you're going to have to just accept this is not going to go away. There was never, and I've heard this thought of, well, maybe they can work together. That's not going to happen. There is never coming a day where the PGA and this group are going to go, well, we'll just do this together. Mm-hmm. I don't have to. But they can live cooperatively. The PGA's just got to get off this. Well, if you play, you're either with us or against us. This won't work that way.
Right.
There's no bullets in your gun. You can't keep them out of the majors. They've basically, all 4 groups have said, we're not playing that game. Mm-hmm. We have too much money on the line here. The best players in the world are going to play in the majors, period.
Yes.
So what's your threat? We're not going to let you play the Phoenix Open? Woohoo! Who cares?
Right.
You have no ammo here. There are times in life that you just have to look at it and go, I'm beat. And the PGA is beaten. That's the way it's going to be.
Yep.
And I won't be shocked if by the time this LIV season is over, it has a lot of room to grow. And I could easily see it doing so. I've already crunched the numbers on this. It's not staying 48 players for long. You've got too many players that committed to it. You can't just say, well, sorry, Chase Koepka, your brother took your spot. You want to hold his bag? We do pay caddies, which they don't do. So, I mean, I see these events expanding. I would say the calendar is going to be much bigger next year because they figured out. Somebody in the comments said, wait till they have a TV deal. You got to say they're doing all this without a TV deal. They don't care. They could care less about a TV deal. Now, if one comes along, I'm sure they won't turn it down.
There will be one.
I'm not as sure of that. I'm not sure that they care. I think they like the fact that it's through their website, through YouTube, through the things like that, because everybody has access to it.
Yeah, but it's
what is the value? The Golf Channel.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you a fun scenario of how television channels work. Where was the U.S. Open broadcast over the weekend?
CBS.
No. There's not one hole of this played on CBS. NBC got the weekend. The Golf Channel had some of the coverage, some of the makeup coverage. It was on USA. I'm the biggest golf fan you've ever met. I had to look that up. And I think that's what they're looking at is, what is the merit of that?
Right.
All right, so it's on USA, a channel that cord cutters certainly don't get because it's not on any of those platforms. So why would we care? Just put it on. We're not worried about the TV money. We have the money to back this up. We're trying to prove a point. And I think they've proven the point. And it's only going to get worse.
I don't know that they'll say no to it. I feel like somebody's going to step up. There will be a TV network that steps up with some kind of a package.
It will be very non-beneficial for you as the television network. I'm just telling you that the reason that these entities do this is because they need the money. This group don't need the money. They don't care. They'll run this on Twitter if they have to, because I almost feel like they're using that as a rallying cry. This is not even on network television, and we have the best golfers in the world leaving you that has all of those things. For us, who maybe they will one day, maybe, because we're taking care of our players. That's the merit here. This entity is paying their caddies. That's unheard of. The caddy's paid by the golfer. That's the way the PGA Tour works, has forever. That's unheard of. And so they keep just heaping benefits on these guys. Of course guys are going to leave. And you're eventually going to get to a point where you've drawn the line in the sand, and now you've lost half of the best golfers in the world, and you can't run this claim of the best play here. Well, because they don't.
The number of golfers that are staying loyal to the PGA continue to dwindle today. Brooks Koepka, 4-time major winner, and Abraham Ancer, feels like many-time major contender, have both jumped to the LIV Series. You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400.
Officially underway.
ESPN
Comfortable cool numbers tonight, down to 59 degrees, but we'll bring some heat for the midweek forecast. Low 90s tomorrow in Asheville, and we will flirt with records. Record tomorrow, 94 from 1964. And we'll be close, but I think we'll be just shy of records tomorrow. And then upper 80s on Thursday. I'm meteorologist Scott Lariamore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic is slow 26 westbound between Airport Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. On the Captain Jeff Bowen Bridge, traffic is moving well, busy and steady. Smoky Park Highway, no problems. Patton Avenue, incident-free. And New Leicester Highway, no backups. Biltmore Avenue moving well. Merriman Avenue, no delays. On the Charlotte Highway, no backups. And Sweeten Creek Road, incident-free. Checking the drive time from Biltmore Forest to Fletcher via Hendersonville Road southbound. Drive time 16 minutes. I'm Lee Minfield with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by AutoZone. Get in the zone. What makes AutoZone America's #1 battery destination? Because they offer free battery testing and charging and reliable replacement batteries starting at just $79.99. And they've always got your battery solution. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
It's a can't-miss summer on Today. This week, hot fashion trends, from bestsellers to big events. And Jill Martin has the summer steals and deals you need. Plus, Kim Kardashian, Julie Andrews, and a concert with pop star Conan Gray. Watch the Today Show every morning on NBC.
Welcome to Allstate, where you can save just by being you. DriveWise in the Allstate mobile app gives you personalized driving feedback. And by adding it to your policy, you can save for driving safe just by being yourself. Allstate. Here, better protection costs a whole lot less. You're in good hands with Allstate. Click, call, or visit allstate.com to save today.
Not available in every state. Savings based on DriveWise and other safe driving discounts. Savings vary. Subject to terms and conditions. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Make this the year you go to our iHeartRadio Music Festival.
Tickets are on sale now at AXS.com.
iHeartRadio, let's go! A weekend full of superstar performances, never seen before collaboration, and once-in-a-lifetime moments you'll have to see to believe.
Friday, September 23rd and Saturday the 24th at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas.
Our 2022 iHeartRadio Music Festival.
Buy your tickets now at AXS.com.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. You're driving along and some nimrod cuts you off. You hit the horn. Jeez, it sounds like a goose in distress. Time to head over to eBay Motors. They have horns for every make and model, not to mention horn pads, steering wheels, wiring, and more. 122 million parts. You can even go for an upgrade. Looks like Mr. Cutoff Man needs a new seat cover. Try eBay Motors, pal. Get the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors. Let's ride.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WBNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WBNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WBNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
Real estate isn't about properties, it's about people. I'm Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty, your native realtor serving all of Western North Carolina. I will work hard for you, and I believe in doing the right thing every time. I market each of my listings to reach out-of-town buyers. I use a professional photographer and drone video on every single listing, as well as collaborate with agents across the country to find your buyer. Check me out online at clarissasellswnc.com or give me a call at 828-774-6343. It would be my pleasure to assist you through the real estate process.
The Sportsocracy.
The ceiling is the roof. Let's make it happen. Let's keep moving forward.
The LIV Golf Tournament, Saudi-backed with all its gobs of money, have gotten Brooks Koepka and Abraham Ancer to defect. They're the latest ones from the PGA joining the LIV Golf event, and they will be... Well, we've heard that Koepka will be participating in the Portland event coming up next week.
Patrick Reed, Brooks Koepka, Abraham Ancer, they're all in the event next week in Portland.
Bryson DeChambeau as well, so keeping golf's greatest rivalry or current rivalry alive.
I do find it funny that they're starting in the same event.
Right.
Like, man, you had the opportunity to get away from each other, and you still didn't do it.
No. Because I still feel like that's good for the brand. But... will they be competitive with each other in this new tournament?
What will be interesting it would personally be really funny to me if they wound up on the same team.
I don't think there's any way that would happen.
It's more likely than it was a few weeks ago. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't feel like they'll ever.
Well, they're both probably going to be captains. That's what I'm trying to figure out at this
so.
point is who are the 12 captains going to be? And how is anybody going to catch Louis Oosthuizen? Because his team finished first, second, third, and ninth in the first event.
Phil Mickelson did not have a good U.S. Open.
He's just not very good at this point. He's just not.
Just period. Just whatever
he
we
can't
saw.
Putt. He's horribly inconsistent.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, that's at this point, you brought in Phil to be a name. There's no other real allure of him. Yeah, he could catch fire and be competitive, but does anybody care?
I mean, I feel like there are some that will care. I mean,
but is anybody going to not watch this because Phil's not competitive?
No.
There you go. Him just showing up is exactly what he was asked. That's all they wanted him for. Mm-hmm. They knew what they were going to get. Mm-hmm. And I'll be honest with you, they're getting the same thing out of Brooks Koepka. Koepka's been hurt for 2 solid years.
Sure.
You cannot swing like that and it not, let's say, age poorly.
But he's only, what, 20?
No, he's 37.
Is he really?
Koepka's older than I am.
I thought he was old. I thought he was younger than that.
Actually, no, he may be. He may be a few years younger than that.
I was thinking
he's one of the younger golfers on this tour. He's 32.
Oh, okay.
But, I mean, even at 32, that's about the time David Duval washed out, too. When you swing like that, you're basically tapping out on those Champions Tour days.
Right.
And look, I'm not saying he's not going to be a good golfer. He's a name. And that's what they're after. Mm-hmm. The Abraham Ancers that, I mean, he doesn't really move a needle here. That's for the good golf. Mm-hmm. We want as many Bryson DeChambeaus, who, by the way, has been pretty much awful since I told you this is not going to age well.
Yes.
It's a name. That's all they care about. Get the name on the board. People know who it is. They'll watch the event. That's all we're looking for.
And will they start stealing sponsors?
That kind of falls into the same thing with the TV deal. They don't have
need
to.
The money.
They don't have to do that.
Yeah. By stealing sponsors, maybe it's more of just hurting the PGA sponsorships, which we know will happen. The more and more golfers who go over to the LIV Series from the PGA, the ratings will drop, and that's where you're going to hit the PGA. The PGA is scrambling at this point. They're much like college sports, like trying to figure out, what do we do now? What is the next move?
I don't know that there is a next move. And that's the problem. You could have cut this off. Oh, no, this was never going to go away. And I think that's how they treated this is, well, our guys are so loyal to the PGA Tour. Why would they be loyal to you? What exactly have you done for them? Mm-hmm. The majors are the most important events that you play. All right, so you got this insane schedule where you make the lion's share of the money. You're fighting over a purse that's probably 60% of what it easily could be and not hurt you. Mm-hmm. Why would they be loyal to you? That part of this argument never made any sense to me. The events that you're culling these guys from, in large part, they didn't play anyway.
Right.
So you just have nothing to, well, we're going to force you to resign from what? Oh, so we can't play at the 3M? Oh, okay. I'm devastated over that.
Time to get weird.
On the weird scale, there's Vegas, there's Florida, and there's Asheville. Let's get weird, Asheville.
All right, it's dumb law time. There's a new law that has been passed or I guess maybe it's an ordinance. I don't know. It's in a foreign country. I'm not really sure how the structure works there. But beachgoers in Spain who answer the call of nature while having a swim could be handed a fine for doing your business in the ocean.
Don't be gross.
The city of Vigo in the northwestern region of Galicia wants to end the practice of urinating in the sea by imposing a 645-pound penalty, which to U.S. doll hairs translates to just under $750.
But how are you going to know?
That's my question. And it even says at the end of the story, they have exactly no clue on how this is going to be enforced. I mean, unless you just catch somebody dropping trout right there on the seashore.
Which is not how this works.
No!
You just wait.
We all know the trick. We all know the dudes who are going to the and ladies who are going to the bathroom in the ocean.
You just wait for somebody to wade out to their waist and then come back immediately. Right. I was just trying to cool off. Yeah. It's fine.
I just wanted to dip my toes in for a minute.
I don't want to get my hair wet.
You've been drinking Natty Lights all day long, and now you just went in the water because my feet were hot. So, unless you're, for guys, unless you're just whipping it out in public,
this is one of those.
They have no idea.
This is like that story I told you earlier that apparently the government of Qatar is trying to enforce there will be no
relations.
Fun times is what I was going to say. Well, yours is accurate. For non-married couples at the World Cup.
Yes.
How exactly are you planning on enforcing that?
You'd be surprised.
I'm sure I would be.
You would be surprised.
Just don't. That's the most enforceable thing.
We had some family friends get in trouble for that over in the UAE. They're teachers, and they went over there to do like the exchange program or whatever. They went over there for a little while, and they were cohabitating, and wound up in some serious trouble for that.
Well, they're threatening 7 years in prison.
Yeah, you cannot do that. That is against their laws.
I just don't quite know how you're going to enforce that. But as you said, I've been surprised before.
Right.
Something that would have surprised me if I was driving down the road and saw gas for 69 cents a gallon. But that just happened in Rancho Cordova. The guy's name is John Cecina. He was the manager of a Shell station on Sunrise Boulevard.
Can you see him, though?
That went
John
straight.
Cecina!
That went straight over my head.
Yeah.
Apparently, he made a boo-boo. He was setting gas prices, and he forgot to put in the doll hairs. He put in 69 cents, and then didn't notice again for the rest of the day, spite of the ridiculously long line that had generated in his parking lot. Well, by the time he figured it out, he had cost the company he worked for $20,000.
I'm guessing he got fired.
He did.
Yeah.
But Mr. Cecina has attempted to rectify the mistake.
Okay.
He started a GoFundMe that has generated over $24,000, which that's more than what he lost the company to get his job back. Apparently, he really liked his job, and he wants the job back. They weren't interested. They will not take the money from the GoFundMe. And now here, maybe this is the cynic in me. I don't personally think it would be that hard to find a gas station to run. You're $24,000 to the good here because they're not going to sue him. That's what he was afraid of. He was generating this in case they sued him. They're not going to do that. But they also won't give him his job back, and they don't want any of this money. Maybe I'm missing something here. Maybe the gas station worker market in California is really fierce. I don't think it is. And I think you just put that money in your pocket and go, well, that was a nice little fortuitous boo-boo.
Who would give to the GoFundMe, though?
I have no idea.
Who would look at that and go, yeah, I think we need to help this guy out?
I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I look at about 30% of GoFundMes and just go, wait.
1,000%.
Wait.
Really? I mean, people are posting for like, I'm a single mom and I really want to take my kids to Disney World. And she gets like 17 grand.
I get that one. I get that one.
I mean, sure, give her a couple of bucks or whatever.
That one, the one you just said, I totally understand.
I don't get it.
It's more like I saw one that a guy was trying to raise money for guitar lessons.
Are you serious?
And, Oh,
no
there's way worse. Just a lot of them I can't say on the show. And I'm like, isn't that what OnlyFans is for? Like, maybe I'm missing something here. But I don't feel like you're using this platform correctly. This was supposed to be a good platform for people really in need.
How would you do that?
Play guitar badly.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Play guitar badly so people 100%.
Yeah, your OnlyFans videos have to be you just, strumming it like you're from Florida. If you've seen the Family Guy episode, you know what I'm talking about. But you're just playing horribly and go, subscribe to my channel and these videos will get better. I don't think that's...
I'd throw a couple bucks at it.
Of course you would. I've just never understood that.
I'm not very judicious with my money sometimes. That's why I'm not in charge of it.
Of course, money makes me uncomfortable, and I will never beg anybody for money, regardless of the situation.
I'm still just trying to figure out how this guy's not going, this worked out nicely for me.
Right.
I'm done now.
Yeah. $24,000 he got in a GoFundMe campaign.
I feel like you should have to put that in your obituary. I got people to give me $24,000 because I did my job so poorly.
69 cents in gas, though. Wow.
One guy got over 100 gallons.
I saw Elon.
I would literally have put a bed liner in the bed of my truck and just filled it. Like, I don't know how I'm going to get it out, but I'll find a way.
Saw a post from Elon Musk earlier today. He found a 7-Eleven that had 7-Eleven gas prices, which was kind of cool. It was $7.11 a gallon. I was thinking, and people in Asheville, North Carolina complain about $4.50.
Oh, I filled my car up this morning. I'll complain, and I don't care if it's $1.50. I'm going to complain about how much that is. You throw a 4 in front of that? Oh, that will be 30% of what I talk about until it changes.
You are in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. Coming to you live from the Ingles Studio. Kyrie Irving. There's talk that Kyrie Irving and the Nets, their contract talks have stagnated. And who is shocked by this?
Here's my question. Why would Brooklyn want to continue doing this? And I've heard the narrative of, well, if he signs somewhere else, they can't sign a player to replace him because the NBA's ludicrous salary cap. Well, salary cap's this, but you can go over it and sign your own Stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you want him? That's the part of this I don't understand. And the loudest of this should be Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant is in, without a doubt, the most no-win scenario I've ever seen in my life. Think about the narrative that you just heard for 2 weeks through the NBA Finals. Steph Curry gets no credit because Kevin Durant was the Finals MVP.
Mm-hmm.
which I find funny that now Kevin Durant is getting rallied against because he's never been the best player on it. I'm going to need you to pick a lane of who won this and stop flip-flopping.
We just had to have something to complain about.
I guess. Curry wins one, and now, Durant's never won one as the guy. Wait a minute. You were making that same argument in reverse a week ago.
We're just moving the benchmarks. It's the way it always happens.
Just look at, if I'm KD, and this is, maybe I think I'm a little more than I am. Please go anywhere else, because this cures a problem for us. Now it's Ben Simmons, me, and whoever we can line up to. That team's better without him. I hate to break this to any diehard Kyrie Irving lover. That team's better without him, and I don't know that it's all that close.
But is it because he just can't he can't live in a system where he's not the number one ball handler?
He's a ball-dominant point guard that we have seen time and time again. I mean, the guy averages 23 and 6 for his career.
Mm-hmm.
He's never been the best player on a championship team.
Right.
And he's never going to be. The further from LeBron James he has gotten, the crazier he has become.
Mm-hmm.
And the more obnoxious and the more overrated he has become. I fully believe what I'm getting ready to say. I fully believe Kyrie Irving has passed Russell Westbrook and James Harden as the most overrated player in the NBA.
Really?
And I don't even think it's close. Now it has gotten to such a stupid point. Well, James Harden doesn't play in defense. Kyrie Irving makes him look like Rudy Gobert. He is brutally bad. He's a horrible locker room cancer. He always thinks the grass is greener on some other side. There doesn't even have to be a destination. It's just, it's better than it is here.
Mm-hmm.
Why? And I'm going to ask you a question that I put out on Twitter when this story broke over the weekend. Be 100% honest with yourself. How much better is Kyrie Irving today than John Wall?
I would say he's...
It's not. I'll save you from saying it.
A lot better.
He's not. In terms of win share, in terms of basically every metric you could ever look at, he's not.
Huh.
And that's with a guy that's been on just some god-awful teams. A guy that can't even find a place to play. Sat out on the worst team in the NBA. Wouldn't even put him on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
They're vaguely the same guy.
Wow.
They're both offensive, ball-dominant point guards that create their own shot and create virtually nothing else. And yet, because Kyrie Irving is a name that we know, every team should want him. No, they shouldn't. Ask yourself this. Charlotte Hornets were one of the little under half of the league that didn't make the playoffs.
Not a chance.
Not even close. Not even if they were going to give him to you for $0.
Nah, I'm good.
I'm out. Atlanta Hawks. I'll just go down the Eastern Seaboard. Atlanta Hawks, Orlando Magic. Any of those teams interested?
Nah.
No, I don't want him around my young guys if I'm Orlando. I'm not taking the ball out of Trae Young's hands. And I can do this with every team in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
And it falls into that dysfunction.
Sacramento
the Brooklyn
Kings.
Nets are dysfunctional. They have been forever. You can rebrand them. You can move them out of Jersey, put them in Brooklyn. It's still the same foundation holding this house up.
Mm-hmm.
It's still the same shoddy craftsmanship that had John Calipari and Kerry Kittles. It's the same team. I said this when these two got together. This makes no sense. I understand you're buddies and maybe you like each other. Your on-the-court combination makes no sense.
Mm-hmm.
Then you throw Ben Simmons into it, which makes less sense. And weird. How'd that work out?
Yeah.
Now, next year, they're the second most likely team, according to Vegas, to win an NBA title. That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard out loud in my life. Ever.
Well,
I could name 5 teams in the East that are better than them. If they brought back everybody, I don't care. You're not good.
Well, because they know people are interested because of the names.
And that's it.
Right. People think as long as you have stars, you're a contender. Doesn't matter what kind of stars you have. Doesn't matter how they fit together. That's why everybody got duped by the or not everybody, but a lot of people got duped by the LA Lakers thing of, Russell Westbrook added to Anthony Davis and LeBron James. That's got to work, right? No.
Look at
There's
what wins
more
in this
basketball
league.
than that.
Look. I mean, the last 10 NBA champions. Look what wins. Steph Curry, Giannis Antetokounmpo, LeBron James, Kawhi Leonard, Steph Curry about 9 more times, LeBron James about 9 more times.
Right.
That's not an accident. Name me the Kyrie Irving level player that has ever won a championship as the guy.
Mm-hmm.
I'll save you time that there isn't one. It's never happened, and it's never going to happen. The only guy I could argue was on a team where it was him and a bunch of dudes was Dirk Nowitzki, who might have been the most selfless superstar in my lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
That's what wins in the NBA. Kyrie Irving doesn't. It doesn't work. We've seen it. He blew up the Celtics. He blew up the Cavaliers, and now he's getting ready to blow up the Nets. And yet, there will be some stupid fan base, New York Knicks, that just scream, he would give up anything to get him.
Right.
I heard obviously being a New York supporter, I listen to a lot of New York sports talk. This morning, one of the most famous broadcasters in all of the city said they should give up R.J. Barrett, their pick in the lottery, and all of these salary fillers to make this work for Kyrie Irving. Are you out of your mind?
No, he's a New York Knicks fan.
I know. Easy.
What?
I'm a reformed
Tell me
Knicks
where
fan, so.
I'm wrong, because that's all they do. They chase over and over and over again. Superstar name, hey, let's go get him. Oh, guess what? It didn't work. They tried it in the 90s with Larry Johnson. Didn't work out. They tried it later on with Carmelo Anthony. Didn't work. Amari Stoudemire. I mean, I think I could go on.
You could do this all the way back to Patrick Ewing.
Right. Since the Patrick Ewing, John Starks
Which,
days.
by the way, also won nothing. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah, but at least you felt like they had a chance. Yeah. With Oakley and, yeah. I mean, that was a good team. It was just Michael was standing in the way.
Mm-hmm. And I'm dumbfounded by this. And we just do it over and over and over again. All right, I'll ask you another question.
Okay.
What is really, honestly, the difference between Kyrie Irving and Russell Westbrook? Honestly, they're both stat-accumulating point guards that are ball-dominant and headaches in a locker room.
Mm-hmm.
Where's the difference?
I don't know.
One
I
is
don't
looked at as a complete disaster because he bounced around places, and now we've just figured out, it wasn't everyone else. It wasn't everyone around him.
It was you.
It was you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, are we not there with Kyrie?
Sure.
Have we not gotten to this point? Because it doesn't feel like we've gotten to that point.
There are still people who believe. I don't think anybody believes, or not many people believe in Russ anymore.
And
what's
that's
it going to take with Kyrie is the question, I guess.
I would say that's going to take something that's not going to happen in the NBA. People are going to have to actually watch the games and understand what they're looking at.
Mm-hmm.
Because, yes, Kyrie is a great ball handler, and, yes, he's a great scorer.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't do anything else well. He does nothing else well. He is a weird combination of a better shooting John Wall with Jason Williams handles. By the way, if you had two White Thunder references in the same show, you have Sportsocracy bingo.
Yes.
That's what he is. Nobody wants to admit that because he's been this ballyhooed #1 overall pick.
Mm-hmm.
He's a bust. I hate to break it to you. He's one of the bigger ones I've ever seen.
$36 million player option for this upcoming season. The fact that they're even talking about hitting the open market is baffling to me.
Well, I mean, there's nobody that has money.
No, you
so
take
even
that
if he hits the
37
open market, okay, what you're going to have to facilitate a sign and trade.
Right.
And now you're talking about Detroit.
Oh,
they're one of the teams that could actually facilitate this.
Speaking of dysfunctional franchises.
Oof, that one's bad.
Yeah.
Oh, do that. Oh, you know what? Now that I've said it, I didn't actually prep that. Now that I've said it, please do that. Please send him to Detroit for Kelly Olynyk and Jeremy Grant. Done.
Let's see, Kyrie Irving and Cade Cunningham together.
Oh, I wouldn't watch that if they played it in the parking lot.
No. Detroit, the Detroit Pistons, that was one that we missed earlier when we were naming off all the most dysfunctional teams, franchises in all of sports. Yikes. You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. When we come back, Jeremy's mad.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Lane delays 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and Montford Avenue, 26 westbound slowing between Airport Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. Sweeten Creek Road, north and southbound, approaching Mills Gap Road is slow. Hendersonville Road, northbound, approaching Overlook Road, delays. Cane Creek Road delays both directions between Concord Road and Mills Gap Road. Captain Jeff Bowen Bridge, traffic is moving well and busy. Smoky Park Highway, no problems. I'm Lee Minfield with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Liberty Mutual Insurance, where you only pay for what you need.
Liberty. Nobody should have to pay for one-size-fits-all insurance coverage. Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance so you only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Here's to the great American settlers, the millions of you who settled for unsatisfying jobs because they pay the bills. Of course, there is something else you could do if you got something to say. Start a podcast with Spreaker from iHeart and unleash your creative freedom. Maybe even earn enough money to one day tell your old boss, "Hey, I'm no settler. I'm an explorer." Spreaker.com. Spreaker. Hustle on over today.
Hey, Dad? Cool if I change this?
They may not get each other's music, but they can both get a COVID-19 booster shot. Because the CDC recommends booster shots for people 12 years and older after completion of a primary series. Schedule an appointment as soon as you are eligible. Sponsored by BioNTech and Pfizer.
Don't let breakfast be boring when it could be better. Wendy's Breakfast Baconator will have you feeling sunny side up all day long. Wake up to fresh cracked eggs, savory sausage, and oven-baked bacon, of course. Order it and start looking forward to tomorrow morning at participating U.S. Wendy's during breakfast hours only.
Everyone loves shopping online. Well, I'm going to tell you what I tell my golf buddies when they buy clubs. Stop searching for coupon codes. Download Capital One Shopping to your computer. Capital One Shopping instantly searches for available coupon codes and automatically applies them at checkout. Plus, it's free, and you don't even need a Capital One card to use it. That's like hitting a hole-in-one without even trying. Capital One Shopping. It's kind of genius. What's in your wallet?
Savings and available coupons vary.
It's so sticky.
At Hannah's Organic Honey, business may be sweet, but they need an e-commerce queen bee to lead the hive.
Okay, these jars are going to Jakarta. Oh, wait a minute. Does that say Jackson?
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Earn up to $500 in sponsored job credits by interviewing on Indeed. Visit Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Everyone's heard about the housing market and this being the best time to sell a house in years. But the same thing applies to cars. Whether you're looking to buy a car, trade in, or sell that car in the driveway collecting dust, Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville wants to buy your car. They have 2 on-site managers that work with Kelly Blue Book to give you top dollar for your vehicle. You can even have your car appraised instantly at AndersonNissan.com. Stop in and visit them today at 629 Brevard Road in Asheville or call them at 828-365-1663.
Now is the time to get in the driver's seat of your career. Ingles Markets is looking for new regional drivers to join our Land to Sky distributors fleet. Start with 2 weeks paid time off and paid holidays. Our drivers average over $80,000 per year and they're home every week. Land to Sky offers excellent pay and a great benefits package. 6 months of CDLA driving experience is required to apply. Visit ingles-markets.com/careers to know more. That's ingles-markets.com/careers.
Dirty Turkish shark back flat.
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not gonna take this anymore.
Shark back flat.
Good. Let the hate flow through you.
This is once that I'm going to do it. I'm mad where I'm as guilty as everybody I'm mad at. How in the world did we just have a U.S. Open that was this close, this competitive, and this fantastic, and nobody even acknowledges who won it? Matt Fitzpatrick is one of the most likable players you will ever see on the PGA Tour. Literally stayed in the same house that housed him when he won the amateur championship at this same golf course. And yet, I've yet to hear his name all day long. Played in majors since 2013. This is only the third time he's even finished in the top 10. Manages to get his first PGA Tour win at the toughest golf tournament we have. And nobody even gives the kid his flowers. Congratulations, Matt Fitzpatrick, and the rest of us do better. I'm mad.
It's because a lot of us don't know who he is. I mean,
he's a very likable kid.
If Tiger Woods had won it, if anybody who's a name had won it, that's all you'd be talking about.
Well, and there's
today.
so many other things. You've got the LIV things going on. I get it. Just throw a mention in there. And what's funny, I prepared that for that segment, and then we didn't mention him.
Right.
So, like I said, I'm as guilty as the rest of us.
You did. You mentioned it.
Very much in passing.
Yeah.
Not as much as I wanted to.
Briefly. We were talking about Kyrie Irving and John Wall. Latest news on John Wall. He's picking up his $47.4 million player option for next year. So he's going to make $11 million more than Kyrie Irving if Kyrie Irving picks up his $36 million player option. Hot.
Oof. That is an albatross of a deal.
So bad. So bad. You know what's great, though? Losing weight. With the PhD weight loss system, I have lost over 70 pounds. I hit my 70-pound mark officially last week, and the numbers on my scale continue to dwindle down. I'm getting better nutrition. I'm getting more exercise because the fact that I am more than 70 pounds lighter than I used to be. My aches and pains have practically disappeared.
Over the long weekend, I played 2 rounds of golf. To most of you, that does not sound like an over-the-top amount of activity. But for me, before PhD, it would have been. My back would have hurt. My feet would have been sore. But because I've lost so much weight, I'm in so much better shape, physical activity isn't wearing me out like it used to. I'm almost down to my target weight, and it's all thanks to the program and food of PhD Weight Loss.
The absolute all-star of the program, Dr. Ashley Lucas, has the plan to help you drop the pounds, drop them quickly, and hopefully change your habits so that you won't have to deal with that weight problem any longer. Go to myphdweightloss.com. That's myphdweightloss.com. PhD Weight Loss, the official weight loss program of the Clemson Tigers and their fans. Tuesday edition of the Sportsocracy is in the books. Tomorrow, more football on tap as we officially enter that stage of it's almost here.
It's almost here.
It is coming right around the corner. We'll be back with you tomorrow at 3 o'clock right here on ESPN Asheville and at thesportsocracy.com on YouTube.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Well, summer is officially underway. Comfortable cool numbers tonight, down to 59 degrees, but we'll bring some heat for the midweek forecast. Low 90s tomorrow in Asheville, and we will flirt with records. Record tomorrow, 94 from 1964. And we'll be close, but I think we'll be just shy of records tomorrow. And then upper 80s on Thursday. I'm meteorologist Scott Lariamore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This report is sponsored by eBay Motors.
Ray Magliozzi here. I don't cook much, but when I need ingredients for my car, eBay Motors has 122 million options. So whether I toasted my transmission or cooked my clutch, eBay Motors has all the right parts at the right prices.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Delays 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and Montford Avenue, 26 westbound slowing between Airport Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. Sweden Creek Road, north and southbound, approaching Mills Gap Road is slow. Hendersonville Road, northbound, approaching Overlook Road, delays. Cane Creek Road, delays both directions between Concord Road and Mills Gap Road. Captain Jeff Bowen Bridge, traffic is moving well and busy. Smoky Park Highway, no problems. I'm Lyndon Field with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by TP Howard Plumbing.
Hey, this is Josh Howard with TP Howard's Plumbing. There's nothing worse than a plumbing emergency. We need plumbers, helpers, utility foremen, laborers, and operators. Full benefits included. Call TP Howard's Plumbing at 628-1369. That's 628-1369. Equal opportunity employer.
From the